you to do something I don't think I've ever asked you to do. If you could have your phone out, let it be for taking pictures and quoting Mr. Abe, not playing. You can play Angry Birds later, okay? You can play Minesweep, whatever. You can snap later, okay? Take an hour, Mr. Abe. We consider you a national treasure, and we're honored to have you with us today. Thank you so much for being here, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Abe. Thank you.
Ken, good morning. Yeah. It's a pleasure to be here. Why can't we be the whole world like this, like we have over here? Why? We all people. We all the same. It's a pleasure to be here, singing those songs, and it's so nice for you to be so happy to come to a house of worship. Now, I'm 90 years old, going on 200. Well, I'm going to catch up to you. Okay?
Mr. Abe asked Miss Welch if she'd like to go out to dinner. Just in case you don't know, Miss Welch is our 100-year-old, 100-year-young church member.
That's good. You belong to the church all the time, didn't you, huh? One?
No, God's church.
That's correct. Yeah, we all the children of God. And I love it, I love a small community, getting together, people being nice. And it's nothing like it. At the beginning, I was hating some of the people, but I came to the conclusion, hate is no good. So whoever did bad to me, I forgave him, and I feel much better. Something got off my chest, and I feel 100% what I used to feel. Now, give me an idea. I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you a few things. Okay. Before I start, I came to the United States in 1947, and I joined the Army. Okay, that's a good-looking guy. Okay, not as good as you will look, but close to it. Okay, and so I really am very pleased to be here in the United States. I lived through a lot of things, the good ones and the bad ones, but we have to be vigilant today what's going on. Now, I usually don't go into politics, but we have to live with our eyes open and not be bullying around. We have too much bullying what's going on right now, but we have to respect the office anyway. No matter what it is, that we have a procedure how to go about it, and we have to follow it. And if we don't do that, the United States loses everything. Now, how much time have I got an hour?
I'm not going to cut you off. If you need to leave, please excuse yourself quietly, because you may never hear this man speaking again like this. So take all the time you need, Mr. Abe.
I'm going to tell you my story, but I'm going to emphasize you what I saw personally. I cannot say what somebody told me because I didn't see it, but whatever I know, since 11 years old, that I can tell you from experience, and I didn't forget one thing, but as long as you are grown up, we have a few kids, I'm certainly not going in those few kids, to me, are precious. So I don't want to go into real nitty-gritty, so you can imagine what I'm telling you is 100 to 1,000% worse than this. I usually talk to teachers and principals, but no children, then I can go into what actually happened, but this is a little bit not as gross what happened because on account of the kids. So I got a lot of pictures to see it for you to see over here. As a matter of fact, 2 weeks ago, I was in the military camp in Fort Bragg, and the colonel came over who was in charge. And, he made me an honorary colonel. So,
wow.
So if anybody here is below, I want you to salute me. Remember that. I should have worn my beret. He was wearing the beret with the colonel on it. He said, "Here it is." He took it off from his head and put it on me.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah, very nice, very nice. That was the memorial candle lighting, and there were a lot of people. So anyway, I'm going to tell you my story from since I remember 6, 7 years old. Now, when I was 6, 7 years old, my grandmother used to get packages from New York City. And I used to get some clothes from my grandmother. So I didn't pay any attention, get a pants, get a shirt, whatever. And then we used to play hide and seek. I'm just giving you a little reference so you understand where I'm going. And when we used to play hide and seek, nobody could find me. Kids played, and no matter what they did, they could not find me. So this comes in a little bit later, so you have an idea. So when the war broke out in 1939, there were a lot of Polish soldiers in my town. Now my town was between Warsaw was over here, my town was over here, and another town, a big town, was below. So they came from Krakow through my town to go toward Warsaw. Now, the first thing we used to play kids, and when the war broke out, we had no idea what's going on. And a German motorcycle with a sidekick came right to my town, and they looked to the right, and because to the left was no homes, and they saw Polish soldiers. And they were shooting at them. I don't know if they heard them or not. As the Polish soldiers escaped, they had to cross the bridge. If you go on the internet, you'll see the Białobrzegi Bridge. If you want to know the write-out, I'll give you later on if you want it, if you're interested. So as the Polish soldiers escaped, they blew up the bridge. So the tanks and the heavy armor could not cross the bridge. So the motorcycle went away, and we ran into the house. We were afraid, and we were hiding. And about a half hour later, a whole Wehrmacht came in, probably a battalion, or a whole unit came in, quite a few thousand people. And they bivouacked right in front of my house. And in a couple days, I was following them, and I was picking up cigarette butts. And I used to make cigarettes, and I used to sell them for a penny a piece. and I used to buy rock candy. That was my, I was in business. Starting young with cigarettes. Okay? And actually, I used to smoke until 45. I gave up cigarettes 39 years ago. I gave up. I used to smoke. So during the war, I didn't smoke in camping. No way in the world you're going to have cigarettes. If you do, you got to kill somebody for a cigarette. And so I was following that. I used to pick up the butts. I used to make cigarettes. I sold them for a penny. I used to buy rock candy. And then my father and my uncle went out, and they got acquainted with 2 officers. Now, when you speak Yiddish, who knows about the Yiddish language? Anybody? It's a mangrove language. It comes from German, from the English, from Russian, all kinds of words from all over the world, and they made their own language. It's not Hebrew. No, it's not that what Moses spoke. That was Abraham's. Abraham is speaking now.
Yes, he is.
He's an Abraham speaking.
You gotta wake up. So they got acquainted with him, and they became friendly. So my father said to them, "We have very little food. How about helping us with some food?" He said, "Do you know where to go?" My father said, "Yes, I know where to go, because there was a palace, and a Polish prince used to live over there, and he escaped to England." Now I got over here, if you can take it out, Kim, a picture from a palace. Now, you can show it. And so my father used to work for them, so he knew all the things that was going on over there. It's a big picture.
Yes, sir.
I think
Sorry, Colonel.
that's okay. So they got an appointment and they went to get food. They got in with the jeep. My father stopped and they got some food. And yeah, that's the one. And that was a beautiful, beautiful place. And I have to go a little story about this. The Soviet Union trashed the place. They used to put oil, changing the oil trucks, and there was a little clean, beautiful river running through that made a mess of it. It was terrible, terrible. It's clean now, so the people who owned it, their ancestors, are probably doing, they're still there, and it's gorgeous. It used to be such a beautiful entrance, and you can do anything. You were not forbidden to go there, to go not hunting, but picking mushrooms and having picnics. What's the name? The prince let you do this, and everybody was very, very happy. So anyway, so they went, they picked some food up, and my mother used to cook it. My mother's standing, and she said, "Why don't you, you brought the food, why don't you stay and eat?" And sure enough, they be glad to eat. They sit down at the table. They were talking, and some of them I didn't understand, some of them I did, and they were very, very, very happy that they were sit down on the table. There was nothing going on then. They never mentioned Juden. You know what Juden is, don't you? Jews. They never mentioned anything. There was no such a thing as for those soldiers to mention Jews. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. And I had no idea what was going on before. There was almost 9 1940. So anyway, and it was getting dark. My father said, "You don't want to go back to the tent. You know, they were sleeping in a tent. Why don't you stay here in the house?" So sure enough, my father brought in straw, and they were sleeping on the bed. I mean, not on the floor. And we had straw bed too. Was not such a thing as a mattress. Straw, period. If you didn't have straw, you didn't sleep. And there was no hay. And they were slept. They got up in the morning. They do their things. My father used to do this thing. He used to help out a little bit. And that went on from January, February, March. As we were getting closer, the two officers came in and they said, "Well, the bridge is almost ready and we're going to go any day now." They didn't really know which day they were going to go, but any day now. And before they went, my father and my uncle said, "Well, how about going with us? Because you couldn't go alone to the palace with getting food. You have to have somebody who has authority to go there." So my father said to the officers, they said, "You leaving in a few days, how about helping us out?" And sure enough, they did. The day came, and they disappeared. We never saw them again. About a day and a half later, around 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, was a lot of noise. They were hitting the windows, they were hitting with barrels and shooting guns, and everybody had to go out. And they said, "Alle Juden raus." In other words, all the Jews out from the house. So my father went out, but my mother was sick. She was in bed. And she didn't go out, and I didn't go out either. And I had a sister, a youngest, and she was sitting on the bed. And my father went out, and about a half hour later, my mother said, "Why don't you go and pick some mushrooms?" At that time, a lot of people used to go and pick mushrooms, so my mother used to make a delicious mushroom soup. I bet you make a delicious mushroom soup. Do you? If you do, I'll come over for dinner. You do? But you gotta pick me up. She doesn't drive, does she?
No, sir.
No.
But we'll pick you up.
Huh?
We'll come and get you.
Oh, okay, all right. Okay. So anyway, so I went out, and as I was walking, I said to myself, I'm going along. I'm going to knock on the door to see if my friend wants to come with me. I knocked on the door. I said, "Would you like to come help me pick mushrooms?" I said, "Sure." So we were walking. As we were walking, about 5 minutes into walk, I heard a click. Clicks, like nails hit. Like nails hit the marble stones. So you're listening from a distance. And I said to my friend, "Somebody's coming." And sure enough, we were walking, and we were walking slow, and those guys were coming faster and faster. They stopped for maybe about 2-3 feet from us, and they say, "Bist du Juden? Are you Jewish?" And I said, "Jawohl, ich bin Juden." So one of them took out the pistol, shot my friend in the head, and I ran like a rabbit runs that fast, or a gazelle, which is faster.
I'm not sure.
But I run like the devil. I have no idea how the devil runs. But I don't believe in the devil anyway. So I ran and I went to my hiding. I ran in, and they were over there 3 or 4 horses eating hay from a trough. You know what a troll is, don't you? Yeah, that's in the big, where the horses drink water outside. And there was hay on top. So what do you think I did? I crawled underneath the hay. Oh yeah, I almost choked. And I was sitting there, I put away a little thing so I can breathe, otherwise it's terrible. If you can't breathe, of course, you're finished. So, and I saw them coming in, looking in, and you know, when they stay there 10, 15 seconds, that's a long time to look in the barn, to stay there and to look in. And I saw them, just a little tiny face. So, and they probably thought to themselves, oh, nobody's underneath it, because the horses are eating hay, so nobody could be up. About 15, 20 minutes, it was nice and quiet, but I didn't go out yet, I was afraid. I waited till it got a little bit dark. I got out, I made sure nobody's there around it. I brushed myself off, finally I started breathing better, and I went into the house. And I went into the house, my father looked at me, I was some with hay a little bit, and he said, where were you? So I told him, he said, you shouldn't go. Well, I said, yeah, my mother told me to go, you go. So how many of you listen to your mother or your father?
No.
No, both?
Your mama.
Your mama, right?
Yeah.
Your mama's the head of the house. No matter what the father said, your mama is the thing. Right? So I'm not the only one. So when your mother tells you something to do, you do it, otherwise you get a kick. No, I don't know how far she kicked. So anyway, and it was getting real dark, and we went to sleep. We went to sleep, and by around 4 or 5 in the morning, we're just getting a little bit light. There was a lot of noise coming out and going out, and we had to get dressed because everybody had to go out, line up. And I was putting my pants on, and I was putting my shirt on, and my father looked at me, didn't you wear your pants and a shirt yesterday? I said, yes. Yeah. Don't you think they're going to recognize you? I didn't even thought about it. So he gave me another pair of pants, another shirt, and he gave me a hat. I put my pants on, my shirt on, my shoes on, and the hat, and I went outside lined up. And sure enough, to my surprise, I looked to my right, and I see those two guys coming towards me. So you can imagine how feeling that was. And as close as they came, they stopped right in front of me and they looked almost directly at me. And I had my head over my eyes a little bit so they couldn't really see it. And they looked maybe for 5 seconds. And I count to 5 seconds. 1, 2, that's a long time, 5 seconds. And they went away. I said, oh my God, what a relief that was. So I never wore those pants again. And the shirt again, I don't know what my father did with it. So, and after about a week or so, we had to line up. Everybody had to do the same thing. They assigned, you couldn't go from one place to another place. If you do, they killed you right over there. Or if you sneaked away, if they got caught, they shot them, you were laying there, the bodies were laying over there. One day, was an announcement coming that they need some volunteers to work in that palace. Now, was very little to work for my father, so my father volunteered. Maybe about 40, 50 guys volunteered. And they lined up and they were marching. Now there were one assessment guarding them, not really guarding them, but walking with them, because you couldn't go out from the city you could not go out. So SS had to be with you in order to go to that palace. My father went into, they were singing Polish songs and they were singing Jewish songs. Now the SS officer said, you cannot sing those songs, you have to sing German songs. So they taught him how to sing German song. The German song was Deutschland über alles, in other words, Germany all over. And they were singing that, and he was working over there. He was stealing some potatoes, onions, whatever he can to bring home to my mother to make some dinner, whatever, cook something. But it was very, very little food. And one day my father said to me, why don't you come with me? There was no school, and I was 12 years old. This is 1940. And I said, what am I going to do there? He said, I don't know, but come with me. You have nothing else to do here. And so you come with me. So I came with him, and the sergeant came over. He said, you come with me. And he gave me a bushel of potatoes. And he gave me a chair, sit down, and peel potatoes. I started peeling potatoes with my left hand because I'm lefty. I had an operation. I broke my arm right over here when I was 5 years old. But I'm writing with my right, and I'm working with my left. So I'm both. Either. You know, what do they call it?
Ambidextrous.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. What does that mean?
And you can change colors.
Yeah, something like that. So anyway, I was peeling potatoes. I stole some potatoes. Whatever I could put in, onions, carrots, whatever I could, whatever they had, and they didn't catch me. I worked there for about 4 or 5 weeks, and another sergeant came over to me and said, well, I got another job for you. Now, I said to him, what is it? He said, he didn't answer me. He said, come with me. I went with him. I went into a room, maybe a quarter the size of that room, and I see lights and incubation, eggs laying in the little tiny boxes with lights, incubation. You know what incubation is.
Yes.
And he said, that is your job from now on. You don't go peel potatoes, and that's your job. You stay over here. If you see an egg hatch, you put it on the side and you feed it. And if you see a bad one, you throw it away and put another one in. That was my job for about 4 or 5 months. And the chicken was getting bigger. They took the chicken to eat. You know, you know what to do. You know what you do with the chicken. Is it, we having for dinner tonight? Chicken?
Beef.
Beef?
Yeah.
Okay. So no chicken.
No chicken. I can go get you one.
Buy one?
Yes.
Really?
Farm Beth, way Farm Beth. She has her own farm. She has chickens.
Oh no, if I knew it, I would love for you to bring a live chicken to demonstrate what happened. Oh, that would be so cool. I'm telling you, unbelievable. Next time.
Next time you come.
Okay, I
Yes,
want
sir.
a live chicken.
You want some live chicken?
But then they saw it already, so what good is it?
Right. That's true.
So, but I'm telling you what happened. So I took care of the chicken, and they getting big. The officer came by and took him and ate him. And I said to myself, we have no chicken. If somebody had chicken in my town, they were a millionaire. You couldn't buy any chicken. Chicken was a rich man's dinner. A beef or lamb, well, for the wrong reason or another, I don't know why. Chicken, forget about it. I said to myself, how do I take a chicken home? Now, any suggestions from here? Anybody? Huh? No, don't tell him. He knows it. Okay? So I came to conclusion, I had what are called knickers. You know what knickers are? Yeah. I said, I'm going to put a chicken in my pants. The knickers is with the elastic on the bottom, and they were that high. So the chicken was over here. And so you can imagine, you walk with a live chicken. What does the chicken do? It makes a mess in your pants. Okay? And I'm walking, all of a sudden, as I was opening the door, that sergeant who showed me how to take care of the eggs, he looked at me, and he looked down. He said, "Was hast du?" Well, I couldn't lie to him, because I said, "Ich habe Hine." And he looked at me again and down, and he walked away. I said, "Oh my God." It's instant death.
Right.
They shoot you for no reason. You're stealing a chicken? Oh my God. I opened the door, I went home, I tell my mother, I have a chicken. And she looked at me, "No, you don't." I said, "Where are my pants?" And she was laughing. Unbelievable. I said, now she said, "Take your pants off, I gotta wash it." You know what the chicken does? It does. You can't tell him what to do. So I went home, I got the chicken, my mother made a good meal, and that went on for quite a while. And one day I said, if I can't take one, maybe I can take two. So I said, I'm going to try it. The guy didn't say nothing, so what can I lose? He's going to tell me to put it back, or he's going to hit me. Whatever he does, he does. Sure enough, I put the chicken in my pants, and the chicken underneath my arm, and I walked. From here to there, and somebody was coming in and said, "Halt, stop." I said, "Was hast du?" I said, "You have 2 Hühner." And he looked at me, and he didn't say a word. I said, "Oh my God." He looked at me maybe for about 5 seconds, 10 seconds. And I went out, and my mother was so happy I got 2 chickens for her. Now she told me to cut the head off. I will not cut a chicken's head off till today. Don't ask me to do that today.
Okay.
We
won't ask you to do it today.
No.
Okay.
And my mother did it, but I couldn't do a chicken. I couldn't cut the head off. And that went on for a while, January, February, March, April, May, June. Meanwhile, they asked for Jewish policemen. They used to call them kapos. So my uncle volunteered to be a Jewish policeman, to take care of the Jewish people, because it was a ghetto. So they needed a Jewish policeman to watch, so a Jew against Jews wouldn't fight or steal or something like this. So he used to watch. One day, my uncle came in. He was my favorite uncle. He used to play the violin. He was a barber. He used to give me the first haircut. He came in and he said something to my father. And about an hour, 2 hours later, my father disappeared. Now, I have no idea what he said to my father. I'm grasping, but what could he say? And as my father went away, he didn't say nothing. He just disappeared. And my mother said, "Where's your father?" I said, "I don't know." "Why did you go look for your father?" I said, "I have no idea where he is." and that was getting late at night. It was a curfew because you couldn't have the candle lights on, and because we had no electricity then in our house. So we used to have candles, and we had to put up the candles when we went to sleep, and without my father. Around 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, everybody had to go out, and what happened, my uncle came in, and to me, because I loved to see my uncle, and he was one of my best uncles. I had 4 of them. And he said, "Hey, come with me." Now, if you have a good uncle, you go with him, you don't question that. So I went with him maybe about 15, 20 feet, and I said to him, "Where are we going?" He didn't answer me. Now, something hit me. I said, "Why doesn't he answer?" So I said, "Tell me, where are you taking me?" He didn't answer me, so I tried to get away. And he grabbed my right hand in my uncle's ear.
Okay.
You can show it.
Yes, sir.
There's a picture.
Colonel.
Yeah, and
This one?
yes, this, you got it. This is the one, what am I thinking? This picture was taken in 1933, before the war started, but that's him who took me away, okay? And this is his wife, that's one my aunt, my mother's sister. And this is his brother and his wife and the kids. And I got it 20 years ago from a cousin of mine. He used to live in Canada. And as I was trying to get away from him, he grabbed my hand very, very, very tight. And I said, "Where are you taking me again?" He said, "He just walked with me. I couldn't get away." And as I walked out from my house, about 20, 30 feet, I took a look to the left, and there was by about 50, 20 trucks lined up. And he said, "Get on the truck." I went closer to the truck, and I see maybe about 10, 15 dead bodies laying right on the truck. So in order for me to get on the truck, I had to step on the dead bodies. I got on the truck, and you could not escape from the minute you're on the truck, because the 2 guys stood with machine guns on each side. The minute you tried to get off, they shot you, and your body was laying there. I don't know what happened to him. And from each house, 1 person had to go. So I had another uncle, and my uncle came in to him. He said, "I have to take you." And sure enough, my aunt, he was married, my aunt said, "Well, if you're taking him, how about I volunteer?" So she volunteered, so she went with him. We got on the truck took off, and about 45 minutes to 2 hours, the truck stopped because it was getting dark, and a big door opened up, and it was a firehouse. They took all the wagons out, whatever was there, and they pushed us in. Now, I just happened to be the first truck, so I was in there, almost the first one. I sat on the bottom with the whip, and everybody who got off the truck got whipped. Now, I was watching him, maybe I was the 10th or 15th, the person to get off the truck. I was watching him whipping the first guy who got in. So the minute he whipped, he put up his whip in the air, I snuck onto him. He didn't get hit, and he looked at me like he was going to call me back, but I didn't. So I didn't get hit. And we went in there, they locked the door, and they told us to be very, very quiet. Now at that time, we had nothing to eat, no facilities to go, nothing absolutely there. Okay, so you can imagine what that might have gone there. Okay, so there were men, women, young girls, and young boys. I was 12 years old then, and it was 11 years old, 10 years old, whoever they got on the truck that was there. The doors opened up in the morning, everybody out, and sure enough, the same guy is standing there with the whip. If you didn't move enough, you get hit very, very bad. And I really snuck until I didn't touch it. And he looked at me, I was on the truck already, and he was on the bottom, the SS was on the bottom. I have no idea what the heck he was thinking. And we went on the trucks took off, and maybe an hour to an hour and a half, and maybe a little bit longer, the truck stopped, and from a distance, like from here, almost like across the street, I saw guards staying on top of the barbed wire, and the big door opened up as we were coming in. We got into the camp. That was in Rado. They separated the men from the women. The women were on the other side, the men from on this side, and we were lined up. At that time, we didn't have anything to eat, but it was 2 days already. We lined up, and the Obersturmführer, he was a colonel in the army and SS, and he came by and looked over. He took out the older people, put them on the side. The young kids who looked bad, put them on the side, and I never saw them again. He came to me. I just happened to stand between two brothers. I don't know why and how, I have no idea. It just happened to be. And as they were coming close to me, I was small. A little, maybe that size. Stand up. So you can imagine on me that small at 12 years old. How old are you?
11.
See, that's 11. So, and they said to me, hey, come over here. They pinched my cheeks, so be red, and they picked me up on my armpit. It's over here. You can show it right over here.
That's you?
Yeah. No, that's not me. And that's not me. But that's how they did it.
Oh, okay.
Okay? This in the middle. See, I got one arm over here and one arm over here.
So the brothers picked you up by
Right.
the arm.
Yeah. They picked me up, and sure enough, they spared me, and they went away, and they told us to get into barracks. They assigned me a bunk with straw on top, and as we were doing this, we were laying down like sardines. And so we kept warm. We had no blankets, nothing at all. And they fed us a cup of coffee and a slice of bread. That's the first slice of bread I had in 3 or 4 days. We were, if you don't eat in a couple of days, hunger goes. I hope you never have to do that. And as we went to sleep, and in the morning we got up. We had a cup of coffee and a slice of bread, and we were lined up. And so as we were lining out outside the camp, the women from the other side lined up too, so we were marching together. We marched maybe for about 35, 40 minutes. Not really the time, I imagine that's how it took us. And we came to another gate. As we come into another gate, it says over there, Polish factory, Polska Wytwórnia Brona. In other words, Polish factory who makes ammo and rifles. They were there making bicycles, they were there making pistols, and they were making rifles. They assigned me to a pistol making, and the Polish foreman told me, come with me and I'll show you how to do it. I sat down and he showed me how to do it. If you're familiar with a pistol, a 45 where the magazine goes in, you'll see two grooves, and without them grooves, the magazine would not go in and hold it. So my job was to make sure that the magazine goes in snug, and so it wouldn't pull out. If it does, it was a piece of scrap. I sat down on the machine, and sure enough, I screwed it up, and it was a mess. And the foreman said to me, I have to report you. Well, what can I say? I couldn't say anything because he saw what I was doing. And about a couple minutes later, an assessment came over, and he had a whip in his hand, and I said, "Hast du gemacht?" I said, well, I couldn't lie, so of course I said yes. And he gave me one whip, and he went over to the foreman. I had no idea what he said to the foreman, and he walked away. I was sitting down, and the foreman said, "Please be careful." So I made a few good ones, maybe about 10, 15 good, real good ones. I was afraid. And all of a sudden, I had to screw another one up. And I had to tell him. And for one reason or another, he didn't say anything, but he said one thing, "You come with me." I had no idea what he was going to do. I came with him, and he said, "You see this pile? There was a lot of, if you work with metal, you have a lot of scrap." So he said, "If you make a bad one, put it underneath the scrap, because they're picking every day up the scrap, and they won't even notice that's a bad one." So I made good ones, I made a few bad ones. I had to be very, very careful not to make two of them, because everything was counted. And sure enough, I was walking over there for quite a while. Now, we had those, one brother was very, very, very storytellers. We were 6 of us, or 8, and we sat down on the floor around, and he was telling stories. Now sometimes you see if somebody's telling a story, you forget where you are. So every time, maybe once or twice a week, sometimes 3 times a week, his name was Abe also. We sat down and he was telling a story, and it felt so good. So after the story, we went to sleep. We woke up in the morning, we came to the same thing as we were working before. And sure enough, people starting to escape. Now, if you remember the Soviet Union, the German invaded the Soviet Union. They almost went to the Stalingrad and Moscow. And in the winter time, they got frozen, and the Soviet Union pushed them back. As they were pushing back, the Soviet were going towards the west. In order to go towards the west, they had to come over our camp. Now, there was a rumor going on one of those days that we were going to have to move. And meanwhile, as we were walking, there was an announcement come, who is a tailor, who's a shoemaker, to come to the SS barracks, and they're going to work for the SS. Sure enough, my uncle was a tailor, and he said, "I'm a tailor," and And the officer said, how do I know you are Taylor? He said, well, I used to make uniforms for the Polish Army. So I said, okay, you come to work, and you work for us, you make us uniforms. Meanwhile, they were giving him food. He could take food, whatever he wants, and he helped me out, give me a slice of bread, sometimes a piece of borscht, sausage, and he really helped out. And he, of course, he had friends in the barracks, and his wife was over there on the other side, so he helped them, and he helped other people. At least he helped me with some kind of bread. I was very, very, very happy. The time came, they said, in a couple of days, it looks like we're gonna move. And sure enough, we got up, and meanwhile they were escaping, and they caught him. If they catch him, they put him outside the barbed wire, the electric barbed wire. They told him to kneel down, they shot him in the back of the head, and they were laying there. Now, we saw the birds come and eat the flesh, because nobody took it away. And till we moved, now I have no idea what happened to the bodies. They came, everybody had to line up and get out from that camp, because the Soviet Union was coming closer and closer. That was the death march from Radom, and we had no idea where we were going to go. As we were marching, it was raining and it was cold, and people were falling down. If they were falling down, the SS saw, the guard saw it, and they shot him in the head, and they were laying there. A lot of people escaped. There must have been about 12,000 in that camp. Maybe a little bit more, a little bit less, but I assume it was about around that. And as they were as we were marching, from a distance, I saw a silo. As we were coming close, the silo opened up, and they told us to get it. No, only 12,000 people could not fit in one silo. So ours was the first one, and the rest of them, as they were walking about a mile or two, they were finding more silos, and they got in there. They closed the door, and they told us to be very quiet. Now, the minute I got in, I smelled cow manure. Now, and I went over to the other side, it was a little fence. I looked down, and sure enough, I see cows. I jumped over on the other side. I sat down on the warm cow manure, because I was cold, and I did not sleep. I was dozing. Now around 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, the minute the sun comes out, a door opened up in the back, and the sun just happened to come out and hit me. And who walked in? A Polish girl. She must have been 15, 16, or 17. And she said, "What are you doing in Polish?" So I told her what happened, and we were talking maybe about 10, 15 seconds. And she said, "I'll be right back." To my surprise, I was afraid for her to bring her father and mother out. To my surprise, she brought me a hot chocolate milk. And that's the first chocolate milk I had in my life. And I said, "Thank you." And we were talking maybe about 5 seconds, because she was afraid, and she went in there. And I said to myself, if she would bring out her mother or father, most likely they killed them right away. So I'm glad she didn't. But after the war, I tried to find it, and I had no idea where it was. Nobody knew where it was. We got out in the morning, we marched, and all of a sudden, I see a train. That's the first time I ever saw a train in my life. And they said, "Get on the train." That's the kettle car. Anybody saw a kettle car on the internet? And so that's the kettle car with one little window. We must have been about 30, 40 of them cars. And they pushed us in and they locked and they drank. Now if you have to go, you go where you sit or you stand. Nothing else. No food, no drinks, nothing. The train stopped in a few hours. We got out and we were marching. As we were marching, I smelled something good, bacon. So you can imagine if you go and buy a restaurant and they make ham and eggs and bacon, and put a nice smell of this aroma. And I said, oh, they must have good food over here. And so we were marching, and all of a sudden I see the sign. It says Auschwitz, and that's in Polish. And underneath it says Auschwitz. And on top it says Arbeit macht das frei. In other words, if you work, you'll be free. We got underneath over there. We were lining up, and they gave us a slice of bread and a cup of coffee, and assigned me to a barrack with a lot of other people. And of course, they separated the men from the women went on one side, the men went on the other side. In the morning, we got up around 6, and maybe a little bit earlier, and we got outside, and one of the guys came over who worked over there, and he said, I need 5 or 6 volunteers. Now, nobody volunteered. For some reason or another, we did not volunteer. And he came over and said, you come with me. And I went with him, the 6 of us, and he gave us a wheelbarrow, and he said, you see this over here, that pile? Take that pile and bring it across the street to the warehouse that was closed. So sure enough, I did it for almost a whole day, and almost around 3, 4 o'clock, not exactly that time in the afternoon, people getting undressed. They're putting their clothes down on the floor, and on the ground, and they go into a big room. Now, as they were going into that big room, there was a lot of noise from that room. I don't know why. I couldn't understand why there was so much noise. And I said to the guy who was in charge, I said, what's going on over there? He didn't answer me. And all of a sudden, and maybe 5, 10 minutes went by, and all of a sudden it got nice and quiet. I said, what's going on over there? Then they started talking. He said, they're supposed to go and take a shower, but there was not a shower, there was the gas chamber. They locked the door, everybody was dead in it, they opened up from the other side, and they put them in the burner, and they burned their bodies, and that's why I smelled before we went in that camp, bacon. So I hope you never went through this. Sometimes you burn yourself badly, it smells like bacon. And so please be careful. I hate that smell, and I can't stand if I see bacon, because it reminds me of, and I still today, I can't, when I go buy a store that has bacon, it hits me right away. Otherwise I'd really try to forget, but you can't. The minute you start bacon smelling, you can't forget. It's impossible. And all of a sudden, after that episode, was an announcement coming that anybody who came on that train to assemble. We assembled about 400 or 500 of us, only men, and we got on the train and we went to Germany. we went to Germany, we went to Suttontown. And Suttontown was an army base, an Air Force base. And of course, it's a lot of in between that, but I'm not going, the time is not there, you know. How much time do I got?
Just keep going.
Keep going, huh?
Yes, sir.
I'm afraid to fall asleep.
I put them to sleep all the time.
Oh, you do?
Yes, sir.
But you wake up by yourself, right? So you don't have to wake them up. So anyway, my job was to patch up the craters, what the American and the English bombs were making the craters. Now you had to run in to a train and get up on the platform, and somebody put 2 bags of 50 pounds on your shoulder, one on this one on this one. And if you could not carry 50 pounds, the guy who was standing there pushed you out with his foot, and the guy with the machine gun shot you in the head, and you were laying with that. We had to cross, step in a lot of bodies. For one reason or another, I used to pick up 50 pounds on each side. But today I can't even pick up 25 pounds. So it was very difficult. And we used to do that. And they assigned us to a barrack, and they put a lot of straw on the top, and all of a sudden, people had gotten sick. Now, I have no idea how sick those people were, and we were laying like sardines, because to keep us warm, and we got up in the morning. I used to kick the guy next to me to get up, not kick him, push him, to get up, and he didn't get up. He was dead. I said to my other side guy, the other one, he said, this guy is not moving, and he came over and said he's dead. So they picked him up and they put him near the wall. Now, and we had to get up. Nobody came in, took him away. Every single day, 2 or 3 died, and less and less of us. Now, as the Soviet Union were coming closer to the west, to Germany, we had to move. We had to move to another camp. And when we moved to another camp, we moved to a railroad. And the other one was Vihinger. And at that time, the Vihinger was a railroad, and my job was to take a pickaxe, you know what a pickaxe is, with the hammer on one side and the spike on the other side. Did you ever see one of them? Yeah, that's, in other words, you take the pebbles and put them underneath the ties. That was my job. Now at that time, SS were not guarding us. It was a civilian. Why, I don't know. So we got, in a few days, we got used to the guy, and we said to him, we are hungry, maybe you can help us. He said, well, I'll try, we haven't got so much food anyway. So in a few days, sure enough, he brought us food, but he said, do not go over right away where I put the food in, they're still watching us from a distance. And sure enough, he brought some food, and was our local bread with some sausages. They were eating. We were very happy. Now, as we were marching in the morning to work, there were pig farms on the way. Now, anybody have a pig farm here? Oh, you do? Oh, do you feed them hot potatoes? So they used to feed them hot potatoes. Now, if you're from a distance, if it's cool, you see the smoke coming up from the hot potatoes. The guy was standing near me, was a friend of mine, good friend of mine. For all of a sudden, he jumped out from the as we were marching, and he ran over there, he grabbed a hold of hot potatoes, I bet you, he burned his hand, no question about it. And he came back and we all had a bite. To my surprise, the SS didn't kill him. For some reason or another, SS, we were marching, he didn't say nothing. Not a word. We were very, very surprised. And the minute you run out from the march, they killed you right over there. Some reason he didn't. That went on at least once or twice a week. As we doing this, we were on the other side of the fence. There was a factory where they were making the U-2 rockets. I had no idea they were making it until I would say about 5 years ago. No, maybe more, maybe about 7 years ago. I got a letter from Germany, and if I was in that camp, I said, yes. Did you ever go on the other side of the fence? I said, no, I've never been over there. He said, do you know what you're making over there? And I said, I have no idea. And he said, well, they were making the V-2 rockets. And he sent me a book. And but everything is in German, and I forgot how to read it. So somebody's interpreting it now. So a big book. So anyway, the time came, that was in 1945 already, January, February, and there was a rumor going on that the Soviet Union are coming closer and closer. The day came, we had to get out of the camp, and we went on a train. They locked the train was moving, that was 1945, and April and May. And all of a sudden, the Air Force came, the American, and they bombed the train, the locomotive, so the locomotive could not move anymore. Now, we were sitting over there on that train maybe for a few hours, and all of a sudden, we saw, not me, I didn't see it, but the guy who was tall, who looked out the little window and to see the guards running, and they're throwing away the machine guns or the rifles, whatever they had. Now, and a couple minutes later, the first door opened up from the train, and who ran out? The Jewish Polish soldiers. And they ran out and they picked the guns up, and I heard shooting, but I have no idea whom they shot, or they did shoot him. Most likely they did. I didn't see it. And all of a sudden, the plane came and bombed my car. It was a big bomb, fell on one side, a big bomb fell on the other side, and my car lifted up maybe about 4, 5, 6 feet, and it fell down. It fell down, I passed out, and I went to heaven. I told you I went to heaven, didn't I? You remember? I sure did, believe me. You know, one day we're going to meet over there. You know, it's a nice place. So don't. I was never afraid of death. That is another dimension. You know, whatever is there is beautiful, tranquil. I was standing there, and I was looking, millions and millions of people marching. Everybody was in white linen. And I was looking for my father and mother and my sister. As I was looking, a voice came to me. He said, I don't need you. I had no idea what it meant, but I found out later who must have been. And I came back and I woke up and I said to the guy who was standing there, he said, I just came back from heaven. He looked at me, you crazy. And I said, I'm telling you, I just came back from heaven. He said, no. And he is the guy who used to work for my father, and he knew me since I was a baby. So anyway, he was laughing and he didn't believe it. As I told him, somebody came by and opened up my car, and we got out. We got out in the crater, and a couple minutes later, what's that, 5, 10 minutes, a Red Cross came by, and they were throwing packages. He picked up the packages, we opened up, whatever you want in the package was there. And a lot of people were eating it, and the guy who, an elderly, he must have been around 30 or 40, he said, "Hey guys," he said, "do not eat fast. Do not eat drink fast, otherwise you get very, very sick." Now, I listened to him, a few of us listened to him, and some of them didn't listen to him. Some of them got very, very sick. Now, if you eat enough, you didn't eat in a week, or you were starving constantly, if you eat a little bit too much, you probably mostly died. And quite a few of them died instantly, because they couldn't take it anymore. We got out from the crater and we were marching. As we were marching, the military police came by and they picked us up and we went into a camp. They told us to take our clothes off. They burned the clothes and they sprayed us with TDT, a very poison chemical, and to lice us. I must have had on myself maybe 1 million lice. I didn't count them. Believe me, I didn't. And you can take a hose and wipe them and just spray them off. And so, as they were spraying us, he said, "Go with that guy." He said, he took 2 of us. He said, "Come with me. We're going to the German barrack. Was nice and clean over there." And he said, "Go and take a shower." I said, "No way." I told him, and I said, he didn't say nothing. I said, "You want to take a shower? You take first." And sure enough, he took his clothes off and took a shower. And I said, "Okay, now I can take a shower." So I took a shower and I said, "What is that?" Yeah. He said, "That's a toilet." "Well, what do you do with it?" "No, I'm not going to explain to you what I do with it. Whatever you do with it, you do." That's the first time I saw a toilet. And we gave us new clothes and we went out. And they fed us a little bit slow, very, very slowly. They gave us anything we needed, not what we want, but whatever we needed. And sure enough, we ate pretty good. I was there in that camp in Burford's house. And in that town, there was a railroad going around. In the town, when the railroad goes down, there's a big curve. So the railroad came around slow. As it was coming around slow, the older guys who knew, not the teenagers, the older guys who know much more than we teenagers, told us to get on the train, throw all the suitcases out from the train, stealing from the Germans. And sure we did. We threw the suitcases out. I have no idea what was in the suitcase. They never told us. And a few days later, who came into the camp is General Patton. I got a number here too. In the camp. General Patton said, I had a lot of complaints from the townspeople that you guys are stealing and running in the train, and you're stealing, you're robbing them. And he said, if you don't stop, I'm going to fence you in with barbed wire. So you can imagine, we just came out from the camp from electric barbed wire, and he's going to fence us in with barbed wire again. It didn't sound good. And the elderly people who were running the camp said, whom can we speak to? He said, well, Eisenhower. In a couple of days, Eisenhower came, and he told us, if you do that again, he's going to make sure that we don't go any place but no fence. And sure enough, we stopped, and everything was good. So I don't know, whatever it was in the suitcase, I have no idea what it was. Announcement came that all the teenagers should assemble outside. We're going to go to Wolfratshausen. We got out on the buses. We went to another camp, only the teenagers. They assigned us barracks. They showed us whatever we need. They fed us good. They gave us new clothes again. We had enough clothes. And they showed us how to go and see a movie. The first movie I ever seen in my life was the Gold Rush. Anybody know about the Gold Rush? Yeah, what is the Gold Rush, you know? You should know. It's nowadays. Charlie Chaplin is eating a shoe. You ever see that movie?
No, sir. It's in my Netflix queue, but I haven't seen
Oh,
it.
see it. It's so funny. I said to myself, how could he eat a shoe? But I didn't realize it was chocolate. And the shoelaces, you know, he gobbled it down, you know. It was a funny movie. And, yeah. And there's another thing. If you want to see a movie over here, I would suggest you see Dough. D-O-U-G-H. Dough. You know what dough is, don't you? What is dough?
Well, talking about for bacon or money?
Well, you can take it either way.
Yes.
It's for bacon.
Yes.
Okay, it's a hilarious movie. It's between a Jewish baker and a Muslim kid. Some combination.
Yes.
And it's, you laugh so hard when you know what they're doing. It's unbelievable. But it's a nice movie. Clean. And kids could see it, you know. No restriction on it, but it's a funny movie. So anyway, so they taught us how to dance. And so we didn't have enough Jews. There was more boys than girls. So they brought in some German girls from the town. And yeah, we were getting a wife. And we getting, I don't know what I was thinking. So anyway, they assigned, we were dancing, and I got acquainted with a German girl. Now at that time, in the end of 1945 and 1946, we, displaced person, had all kinds of food. The German people had hardly anything. So she invited me to come to her house. I took the train, I went over to her house, I brought a lot of food, I brought some butter, whatever I had, I brought a lot of things. I gave it to her mother. Her mother was cooking because she didn't stay for dinner. And all of a sudden I turned around and I said, "Who's that?" He said, "That's my father." I said to her, "For sure?" She said, "Yes. He was a major in the SS, or a colonel in the SS. He was a high-ranking officer." As I was saying that, he went by with a beautiful leather coat, and I said, "Excuse me." And I was going out and talked to him, and I looked down. He had a motorcycle with a sidekick, an army motorcycle. And I looked at them, I looked at the motorcycle, and I said, "Can I have it?" And he looked at me, "Sure." I said, "How do you drive it?" I had no idea. And he showed me how to do it. It was very easy. And a two-wheeler is hard. A three-wheeler is a little bit easier. So I took it home to the barrack, and I had it for a year and a half. I don't know what happened to it. I left it over there. So we became very close friends. But before I went away, I told her goodbye, and we didn't hear from her again. Now, one day in the camp, we had everything. We did a lot of things. We didn't have a minute of spare time to do what actually you want to rest. They pushed us all the time, so we should not talk about it, what happened in the past. And they told us, forget about it, that you were born again, forget about it, what happened in the past, and let's go forward. As, remember I told you, my grandmother, they used to get clothes from the United States. There was there was a people who have relatives in the United States could apply, and they came to the United States. I went over to the American consulate in Munich, and I told them what happened, and I told them how I know I got somebody in the United States, and I told him the name, and he opened up the book, the telephone book, and he said, which one? There must have been about 200 of them, about 2 pages. I have no idea which one. So I closed my eye, I think this one will be. He said, well, you're going to know in at least 2-3 weeks. 2-3 weeks, I got a call. The office got a call in the camp for me to go over to Munich, and I came in from Munich, and I waited for the diplomat to come over, and he said, I think you got the wrong person. And we got in touch with them, but they're not even Jewish. So that was the end of that. And I said to myself, well, if I can't go and do that, I think I'm going to stay here. That was in June, that was the beginning of June. And about a month later, the camp got a call from Munich, and they said, President Truman just opened up for 800 teenagers to come to the United States. If you want to apply, apply. I applied. I came to the United States on August 3rd, 1947. And I came to New York. I went to the Times Square. It was on Saturday. I'll never forget that either. And as I was walking, I see money on the ground. Now, on Saturday, my rabbi told me not to pick up any money. Did you tell him to pick up money on Sunday?
Yes, sir.
You do? You should tell him no. Leave it there for the other person. So I remember not to pick up any money on Saturday. I put my foot down, and I stood over there maybe a half hour till they see a star. You see a star? It's light, dark already. That's what the rabbi told me.
Yeah, Sunday, yeah.
Sunday, right? Okay. Listen to your mother.
Yes.
Yeah. So I put my foot away, and sure enough, it was play money. Okay, now I'm going to follow you. You drop a penny on Saturday. I'm going to, what?
Pick it up.
Correct.
Right.
So anyway, I got a big kick out of that. That was on Times Square. I'll never forget it. Like anything else. Now it was in a couple days, about 4 or 5 days, we were in that hotel. They gave us $5. They do whatever they $5 at that time. That was a lot of money in 47. A loaf of bread was 3 cents. A dozen donuts was a dime. Try to pick a dozen donuts today. It's about $7, $8. And okay, so they told us whoever is in that hotel has to go away to another place. And they told me I have 2 choices: to go from New York to Connecticut, or from New York to California. So what do you think I choose? What? Correct. Right. And it was closer. It was 120 miles. California was 3,000. So they put me in Connecticut, put me on the train. Somebody picked me up on the train. They put me in a house where that lady took care of refugees. Of course, she got paid for it. And I was there. I went to school at night. I was working at daytime. And it was nice. I spoke a little English because I used to work for the Army, and from 1945 till 1940, beginning of 1947, I used to work in the kitchen, so I picked up. What do you think you pick? What kind of words do you pick up in the Army? The bad words, right? That's the first thing you do. So I learned a few good words too. So, and as I was there in Connecticut, I joined that was 1948, and I joined the National Guard. And at that time, you didn't have to have high school. They took anybody in. Try today, no way. And so I joined the National Guard. With the National Guard, I joined the Army. Now in the Army, I took my training in Fort Dix, New Jersey. And then after graduating from Fort Dix, I met that girl and over the phone, and I went out with her one time, and I came back to the house, and they said, "Did you like it?" I said, "No." And, "Can I have that telephone number?" I said, "No." Let me take out one more time. I sure enough took out one more time, and we got married in 1949. So we got married in 47. I came over, joined the Army, the National Guard, joined the Army, got married, and moved to Fort Devens, Massachusetts. As I was there in Fort Devens, Massachusetts, they knew I spoke 3 languages: Russian, Polish, and German, and Yiddish. Yiddish was a mongrel language. So this general from the camp, 3 of them sit down. He said, "We're going to make you a Russian spy." That's the Cold War. And sure enough, I captured the whole battalion by myself with the American soldiers. And I was dressed in a Russian uniform. And they looked at me and said, "How'd you do it?" I said, "That's my secret." I didn't tell them. I still didn't tell them today. So anyway, we got married, and just before the Korean War broke out, I got out from the Army, and I served in the reserve since 49 till 55. Now, as we were living in Connecticut, my wife wanted to always go to California. So I had a business, but I was rolling in dough. How can you get away from that business when you roll in dough? Do you have any idea?
I don't know. I've never rolled. I would like to roll. Listen to your mama.
Right.
Okay.
Right. So I was a baker, and I'm still working today. I can take you out for a day to the bakery. Okay? Yeah, we're gonna have some nice fresh bread, nice rolls, nice cakes. What do you like? Nothing? You must like something. No, okay. At least we're having a little fun. Okay? Yeah. That's good. So anyway, we got married in 1949. October, October 30th, 1949. And we were married 63 years. Yeah, my wife passed away 7 years, 2012. She passed away May 12th. We just celebrated. But I have a girlfriend. I tell you the truth. I'm sorry. She drives at night. She's very, very nice. She has white hair just like you. No, I'm not kidding you, honestly. She's very, very nice lady. I met her 3.5 years ago. She was on the council of the Holocaust and of Raleigh, of North Carolina, around there, and that's how we met. And we have a good relationship, but she drives me a little bit. But listen to your mama.
Listen to you, mother.
So, if you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer you. Okay? And I really, really appreciate being here. I really love it over here. It's a small audience, and it's not like to be in a big place. I spoke in Mount Olive about 2.5 years ago, I think it was, for 1,600 people. It was a lot of people, and very little pickles. They told me I hadn't going to have a jar of pickles. They never gave me.
They never had
So I was disappointed. So anyway, if you have any questions, I'd be glad to answer you.
Do we have any questions from the floor before we sort of dismiss service? We're going to ask Mr. A to stick around so you can shake his hand, take pictures with him.
Mama had a question.
I don't think she wants to ask him anything.
Okay.
I think she found out he got a girlfriend.
You,
You said they didn't go court.
She wants to know if did you ever meet Corey Timbin?
No,
Did you ever know her?
no.
anybody else?
I was in the same camp in Auschwitz, Iselberto. Yeah. So.
Anybody else?
Did you and your wife ever have any children?
Did you and your wife ever have any children?
Yeah, 2 of them. Yeah, my son is a professor of philosophy and history. My daughter is an RN. She worked for the North Carolina Fraud Department. And she investigates old people's home so those people live a clean life and they don't get abused. She's an undercover agent. So I'm very, very proud. And I have a little, not a little, and my heart is very heavy. And that's my granddaughter's. She was 41 years old when she passed away last year. Yeah, of breast cancer. And she is the one who stopped me from smoking when she was 4 years old. She said, "Grandpa, don't smoke, you're gonna die." And I feel terrible. We just unveiled a stone in the cemetery. She left me a grandson who's 12 years old. He lives in Raleigh. My daughter had 2 mastectomies, and she had a finger removed with cancer. I had cancer, but I would say about 50, when I was 75, 74, prostate cancer. and I'm clear. And right now, for some reason, I'm losing weight and I cannot gain. Any suggestions?
I can teach you, yes, sir. I can teach you how to gain weight. Anybody here has been struggling with gaining weight, just let me know. I'll be glad to coach you. You buy and I'll fly. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Anybody else today? Yes, ma'am.
Did you ever see your parents again after you were taken? Do you know what happened to them?
And I have no idea what happened. I never saw them again. They went to Treblinka, or to Majdanek, or to another camp. But I have no idea. The Red Cross is still looking, because about 3, 4, 5 years ago, I think they opened up the archives from the whole world. So they're still looking where and who, where they died, how they died. So I don't know what.
Anybody else? Chesney?
How old was you when you got out of concentration camp?
17.
Any others?
Did you ever see any of your siblings anymore?
And
Did you ever see any of your siblings again?
no, the siblings have only had my sister. That's it. I'll never see them again.
Anybody else? Yes, Miss Faye.
What about his uncle?
I'm sorry.
His uncles that took him away.
Yeah, what about your uncles, aunts and uncles? Did you ever see them?
My uncle, the tailor, came to Waterloo, Iowa, and he became not a wealthy man, but he made a nice living in Waterloo. My other uncle, the one I saw you over here from 1933, he survived the war and he went to Switzerland. Now, my cousin told me he died in Switzerland when I was in Switzerland for vacation, but I never saw him again.
Is that the one that took you away?
Yes.
Okay, so he died in Switzerland?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Others? We're going to ask Mr. Abe to stick around. If you don't mind, Mr. Abe, stick around. You guys can take pictures with him. Just don't drop any money on the floor.
Today's Sunday, you can pick it up.
Oh, yes, that's true. Yes, I can pick it up any day. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So shake his hand. Take pictures with him. We will have DVDs of this available. Just give us a couple dollars to cover the cost of the DVD. We're not going to make any money off of it. We want to put this in your hand to help you remember. We're going to do our best to get it online as well, so you can share it with those around you. And Mr. Abe, you're open and willing to speak at any engagement. Yes, at any time. You have to pick him up. You can pick Miss Welch up on the way there. As long as his girlfriend doesn't find out. I don't want to start any mess.
Right.
Right. Absolutely. Listen to your mother.
Right, correct.
Right, yes. All right, so we're going to pray, and I'm going to dismiss you all, and I want you to take time with this national treasure and invite you back Wednesday night. If you don't have a home church, please come join us at Goshen. We strive to be a church that feels like home with people you can call family. If you fill out a card, see me on the front porch, and I want to bless you with one of those ice cream coupons,
Yeah,
okay?
I would appreciate it if I got a tape.
You want to take?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Do you want, okay, yes, sir, I can get that for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
At least I got the Bible.
Yes, you got a Bible. Somebody in our leadership, make sure you got a Bible.
Right.
Yes, very good.
And I like to read. I'm not what you call it, religious, but I believe any domination, whoever they are, has the right to do the thing what they want to do as long as it's not hate.
Yes.
Speaking hate, and we having a lot of. And I remember when I was 8, 9 years old, and when they went in for Easter in the church in Poland, when they came out, the priest incited them to break all the Jewish homes' windows. And they went with sticks. And then, of course, they knew who the Jewish were. There was about 5,000 people in the town. And it was a riot. And I remember one time my father came home with a hole in the head, was bleeding. I said, what happened? He said he had a fight, that's all I know.
Okay.
And the instigator was a Polish, he must have been in the early 20s. He bit the policeman's finger off. After he bit the finger off, a few people came from Krakow, and who at that time, Pope, the Polish Pope, he was a teenager, he went to the Catholic cemetery then. So I didn't meet him because that's what they were talking, that he was there in my town. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being with us, Mr. Abe. You'll follow us on social media. You'll see it when we post it, okay? Let's pray. Father, in Jesus' name, thank you, God, for heritage and for history and for those that lived it and for us to be able to experience their story. Father, help lead us to love and not hate and to live in a world where we don't repeat the mistakes of the past again. In Christ's name, everybody said,
Amen.
Got it.